I'm Dina Moses from Vermont Weaving Supplies, and in this video I'm going to show you about twisted fringe, and specifically twisted fringe with chenille scarves, and what are some of the issues, and what do you need to do to make them hold up over time, and how to make it easy on you. So to start with, we have it, and this is from me weaving chenille scarves in production. So I'd weave a scarf, skip some fringe on the loom, and yes, I do leave it loose. Weave another scarf, skip another fringe, weave another scarf, and it just goes on and on. But I'm gonna cut between these two. I think it's gonna be just easier to demo. So, I'm just gonna kind of fold it and fold it again so that everything lines up here. Then I'm gonna kind of fold it to here, make sure that lines up with there, right? And then I'm gonna grab my scissor, and I'm gonna cut these right there. Okay, this is the scarf I'm gonna work on. I'm not gonna bother cutting it apart from the other one yet. And also to show you finish, this is a finished chenille scarf. It's the same color, but it's got a little bit of sparkle in it. This is what the fringe will look like when it's all finished. I do not put a hem stitch in. I do not tie knots at the top. I only tie the knots at the bottom. And 20 years of scarves, and they hold up well. So, if you like the look of it, that's fine. But I'm always a fan of putting the work in where you need to put the work in, but not putting the work in where you don't need to put the work in. Tools. So when I tend to do this, I use my fingers. And I find that easier than loading and unloading different gadgets. But I'll also show you different gadgets. This is, Leclerc. Shact has one as well. It's a little, there we go. And those are the clips, right? There's some things that are problematic with this, which I'll explain. This is a hair twister. It's actually under hair braider on eBay. I have tried about 6 different kinds. This pink one with the 4 on the top is the one that I like the best. But there's that. Okay, the important thing here is to set up the scarf so that you can put some tension on it, right? You don't want the scarf moving around while you're working. You want to be able to pull on it and have it stay where it is. So for purposes of this, I'm just gonna scooch that over there. I'm gonna lay this. This is that under the rug stuff, or this sometimes used for kitchen cabinets. It's like rubber. It's gonna help everything not slide. I'm gonna move this and line this up on the edge here, right? And then we've got Helene Bress, the coverlet book, which is, has been re-released and is nice and heavy. And can just go right down over there. Okay. I'm gonna sit here. Now I like, kind of little chunky bundles, so I do 6 threads and 6 threads. This last thread, this is the weft thread, right? And that, as you work your way across, it's gonna loosen up, right? So let's say you leave this in here, and you'll see, like, okay, maybe it's good over here, but then right here, it's already starting to come out. And if you pull it out, the next one's gonna do the same thing. So what I do is I pull it out a little bit at a time. So I'll kind of pull it out to here, enough to do 1 or 2 twisties, and then I'll pull it out a little bit further. Okay, I'm gonna count 2, 4, 6, 2, 4, 6. Now remember what I said about the fact that I don't do knots up here and I don't do hem stitches. The one thing that I do is thread number 12, or the last one of the second bundle, right? That's kind of going over the weft thread right there. Thread number 13 is under the weft thread. I'm just gonna switch them. So I'm gonna take thread number 13 as part of my bundle and thread number 12 as part of the next bundle. And what that does, it's probably a little bit hard to see that, but it cinches in your last weft so that you don't get those weird V's. Okay, so I have these 2 bundles. I'm gonna show you with my hands first. I lick my finger, right? And then I twist one group, and I'm twisting counterclockwise. I'm alternating hands, get it nice and tight, and then I'm kind of clinching it with my fingers on my left hand, just like that. And that's, then I free up those 4 fingers here, and I do the same thing here. This isn't moving. Twist, twist, twist really hard. Now at this point, you've got a few different options. You want to think about the properties of the yarn that you're working with, right? So wool will, when it's wet finished, will grab onto itself and it'll get tighter and tighter, right? So your twist doesn't need to be super tight if you're working with wool, because it wants to tighten up. It wants to full and felt and work its way into something. Chenille is just the opposite. So when you're working with chenille, it wants to worm out. It wants to slip out of what you're doing. So the things that you can get away with wool, you cannot get away with chenille. So for instance, with wool, if you have 2 tight bundles here, and you tie an overhand knot like that between them, and you just let it twist up, that's enough. But with chenille, that's not enough. When you wash this, it's gonna worm up and look not so good. So I'm gonna take that knot out. Gonna get my 2 bundles back. I'm gonna get back to where I was. Twist, twist, twist. Okay, so I'm gonna twist these 2 together, but the thing is that every time I twist them clockwise, right? So I twisted them individually counterclockwise. I'm gonna twist them together clockwise, but each time they go around each other, they're gonna kind of undo. The first counterclockwise twist is gonna undo by a little bit. So I'm actually continuing to twist them counterclockwise while I'm twisting them clockwise, like this, right? So I kind of roll them, and then I switch hands. Roll, switch hands. Roll, switch hands. Switch hands, okay? And it takes a little bit of time to get this into your body, but once you get into your body, it's much more comfortable, okay? Now, I'm going to explain what all the extra fringe down here is for later, but now I'm going to do an overhand knot. And to do an overhand knot, I'm kind of going to put my finger here. Whoops, how do I do this? Okay, I put my thumb here. I go around my thumb, I turn it, and then I switch. Put these 2 fingers in and grab it. I know that seems a little weird, and it's not what we're doing in the video, but all right, so there's my twist. All this extra fringe down here, the reason that I leave it is because I will then tie another knot right there. Because in the first washing, the bottom of the fringe is gonna fray some. I mean, it's gonna fray in the second washing too. But I really like when I give this as a gift or when I first start wearing it, after it's been wet finished, I like the bottom of that fringe to look beautiful. And so I tie this knot. This is the part that will fray a little bit. And then I cut this off. And the bottom is gorgeous. Okay, let's do that one more time and then I'll show you the other options. Okay, so now I'm gonna pull this one out a little bit more. All right, kind of even these out. 2, 4, 6. There's my first group of 6. 2, 3, oops, 4, 5. Okay, and I'm going to alternate number 13 with number 12 so that it cinches in that weft thread. I'm going to lick my finger. I'm going to twist counterclockwise. So like there's like some tension pushing back at me. I'm going to do the second one. And now I'm going to alternate hands, and each time I alternate hands, I'm going to twist in each finger. And this you can kind of get a rhythm with. So I get it to kind of where I want. Finger there, turn it. Now this knot I'll do kind of loose, and then I'll compare it here, and then because you can cinch it up or down to match there. And then, you know, I do a little bit of untwisting here before I do that second knot so that this lies flat after it's cut. Like that, right? So gadgets. This one, right, I know a lot of weavers love this. What I find with it, and again, remember, it depends on which fiber you're working with, but let's say 2, 4, 6, 2, 5, 6. Okay, so the way these work is you open that up and you clip it like that. And then you open this one up and you clip it like that, right? And then it's going to squeak a little bit because it's not exactly, there we go. And then you do that, right? Now there isn't really a way that I've figured out anyway to twist them together while continuing to twist them separately. I mean, I don't know if maybe this would work, but it feels awkward to me. So at this point, I would unclip them and then do the second step by hand again. Okay, so now I'm gonna undo this. I'm sure a lot of weavers have like much cleaner techniques with this, but I almost never use them, so. All right, so here we go again. All right, I'm undoing these so you can see this part from the beginning and the twist. So now we're gonna look at this and you can see this is kind of old and I've got a rubber band holding it together. I tend to, when I buy them, buy a bunch of them at a time. And they're like, you know, you can find them anywhere from like $5 to $20. Okay, so this twister, braider, has these things that you push up there, right, those little clips. And it's got 4 of them. Again, I didn't like the ones with 3s. I didn't like the one with 2s. I really like the pink ones with 4s. I think it's a Conair maybe. So I use the opposite too. So this goes up and I clip it and push it down. And then I go to the opposite one. This goes up, clip it, push it down, right? Make sure these are even. Now what I do is I take a little bit of the tension off it so that it has room to kind of move. And there's this button here. I probably should have shown you that at the beginning. But when it goes up, they turn separately. And when it goes down, they turn as a group. So, okay, take the tension off. These little ends are down so that they're not getting tangled in what you're already doing. And then okay, they're kind of almost kinking a little bit. And then down. Okay, and then push that up, release those threads, and then put a knot here. This knot does go in the opposite, this twist actually goes in the opposite direction as the ones that I was doing. That's just personal preference. I mean, this goes the way it goes. It goes clockwise first and then counterclockwise. It's not quite as tight as these, the ones that I do with my hands, but my hands are really strong from doing this for years. And also because I was selling professionally and I wanted my customers to be able to wash their scarves over and over again, really, really tight was important. But if you're not professional, like, it's okay. You know, this is good enough and it will save your hands long term. The other thing I want to show you is that this setup is great. But, you know, I have years and years of doing this, and I like doing it like sitting on the couch while I watch TV. So what I do is I sit on the couch, I put a pillow behind my back, and then I put the scarf on the coffee table and I put my foot underneath it to hold the tension. And I'm going to show you that real quick with this. All right, let's make believe this little kid's chair, which is actually my working chair, is my coffee table. And I just put my foot here and I get it just right, like that, right? And then I can pull it back, get a lot of tension here, and I can push this as hard as I want, like this is not moving, and I work like that. So that's it. Happy weaving, everybody, and follow me, and yeah, go make great stuff. Thanks for watching.